Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Paterson. Today I'm back again critiquing your work, rating your work on our subreddit. This video is brought to you by FreshBooks. Let's get straight into the video. Okay, so the first one, flowway, it's just a word mark. I'm not sure what it's for. I like the way that you're trying to create this flow angle throughout the logo type, but the problem that I'm seeing straight away is obviously it looks a bit like Facebook, but you've got a few minor errors in here, or they're not so minor actually, they're quite big. I feel like this F needs to come ever so slightly further down straight. It shouldn't start curving at this point here, and the reason why is because it kind of looks like an E as well. Obviously you've done some major editing to this typeface to create this, so what I would do personally as someone who creates logo types is bring this stem off the F back into its original position and make sure it's correctly horizontal vertical. All this has done is added unnecessary details to the design, and you know, design is all about not being cluttered. It's all about doing things intentionally for a purpose, but this to me seems like an intentional mistake. Although I do like the actual concept of the design, the flow, the angles. There's a few things you could do to make this even better though. You see the angle of this kind of looks like a circle, but it isn't a circle. Now this is where a lot of like amateur designers get confused. They think they need to create this organic line, this swoosh, but what if I was to tell you, you could just use geometric shapes to make an illusion of this organic swoosh at the bottom. I brought the logo into Adobe Illustrator to illustrate this further for you, but essentially what I would have done was create a bit more of a perfect arc here. There's a couple ways of doing this. If we go to the line tool, you get an arc tool here, and we could quite literally place just like a couple of arcs, yeah, like so. Or you could have gone ahead to the pen tool and gone to the curvature tool and created a nice arc like so. This would have been better because what we have, and what I'm seeing that you have, is this line is nowhere near like clean enough for the clean typeface that you've used. But if you were to just go ahead and use a circle, this is a little hack for you. If you were to go ahead and use a circle like so, this is the line that I would have taken personally, because this is made from a perfect circle. Like you've just seen, you take a circle and then you create another circle to create this line. The benefit of doing this is that you're using part of a geometric shape. We can use parts of geometric shapes to keep things simple. Logo design is about, you know, keeping things simple, and the easy hack for doing so is to use simple shapes to do that. So I think you've done great work. You've just spent a long time on this. I do like the way that the O works there. But what I would do personally is I would just keep the icon as this sort of yin and yang symbol. That would be pretty cool. So you could cut these parts off here. That could be a really good icon. This next one is Sanford Aggregate. It's a UK-based aggregate and a building material provider. Okay, so you've gone for a monogram. That's essentially what it is. A monogram is slapping two letters together in a creative way to create an icon, essentially. I like the fact that you've shown your sketches. It looks good. You can see here, this is a perfect example of what a logo designer sketchbook should be, or your iPad if you do iPad sketching. Lots of ideas, lots of annotations happening here, just really quickly getting your ideas out onto paper, and you land on something like this. The quicker the idea is to draw, then the easier it will be to remember, and also the simpler the design. And here you go, Sanford Aggregate. You've sort of brought that in on itself a little bit more, and I really like this design. I like the fact that it's not in a complete circle. That makes a lot of sense. Kind of looks like an egg in some ways, but the typeface you've chosen works perfectly. You've chosen a typeface with the same weight as the icon itself, which is the biggest mistake I normally see on this channel when we're critiquing people's work, is that the typeface is never, or is very unlikely to be relevant to the icon. But what you've done here is made this really cohesive and really nice. You see the weight is similar to the weight of the icon. I like the background as well. Using the logo in the background as a pattern, as you can see here, is a great way for brand recognition, where you don't just want to plaster the logo. I mean, again, it looks cool. It could be a beer label as well, just from what you've shown here. It works in a vintage sense like this, and it also works in a modern sense in different layouts. It's very versatile, and also this is pretty cool. Being able to see the design on a mock-up like this is great. It'll be interesting to see if this was for a real project, because if it was, I'd like to see it in real life to see how it physically works on everything. But you've done a really effective job here on creating a design that is able to be patterned out, it's able to be scaled down. The typography feels so in line with the icon, it's ridiculous. So well done, nice one. I've got 730 coins and I'm going to award you the 500 for good work. If I was to rate your design out of 10, strong 8. The only thing I would like to have seen is a black and white version in a website layout, something like that, just to give me more context as to how it would be seen on social media, which every company needs to be on social media today. Bed de Coca? Is that how you say it? Let's have a look. I would buy this. I would 100% buy this. This is a great hoodie. If that's the logo, that's an odd one, but I kind of like it. You've got those sort of pastel colours that a lot of people who love vintage work have. I get it. It makes a lot of sense. It's just a nice creative design. It's hard for me to read because obviously it's not my language. Bed de Coca? Ooh, I really like these colour palette choices that you've got going on here. This is really nice. The kind of ice cream colours, I like that. Mock-ups, mock-ups, mock-ups. You're doing the right thing. I really like this. Everyone else, yeah, everyone's saying I love the colour choices. That makes a lot of sense. Someone says this is going to sound completely stupid, so disregard this by all means. But I'm not entirely sure about the design text logo, but the mock-ups look fantastic. I mean, I have no problem with the logo, works really well. It might not work as a scaled design, but because it's fashion, you have a lot of leeway. It doesn't need to be seen or printed on something this small most of the time. It's very unique, identifiable with the imagery that you're showing. It's not just a logo, this is a brand, and you've done a great job showing that. Before I go into the next design to rate it, I want to thank FreshBooks for sponsoring. There's a lot to love about being your own boss, but trying to figure out your financials on your own or becoming an overnight accountant isn't one of those things. Luckily, there's FreshBooks, the all-in-one, easy-to-use accounting solution that's built for business owners just like you. FreshBooks is an easy-to-use accounting invoicing software that makes it simple to send invoices and receive payments. Plus, it keeps your income and expenses organized so you won't be begging your accountant for help the day before your taxes are due. It has everything you need to manage your books, like invoicing, expense and time tracking, automated payments, and reports that tell you just how healthy your business is. And right now, there's a brand new offer just for subscribers of the channel. Head over to the link down below in the description to get a massive 90% off your FreshBooks subscription for 4 months. Check them out down below, and thank you for sponsoring. This next one with 57 upvotes is a sticker design you recently made. Really like this. It reminds me of those old Instagram accounts where everyone used to do these vintage minimalist designs. There's not much for me to really say about this other than if I was going to improve one little thing about this, I would like to see some more texture in the wood. It feels like the wood is just there, that it's not actually burning with the fire, so more depth of that would be cool. I understand it's difficult to do on a sticker, I'll be honest. So I'm not too sure how you would do it. You would have to essentially just do some more sketching and ideation. But this looks great, I like it. I would most definitely have this as a sticker. The next one, 52 upvotes. My personal logo, what are your thoughts? I like the idea of the mountains being there in this overall icon, but it reminds me of the letter M if you look very closely, or someone on a bike going down a hill. There's not a lot for me to really say about this other than the type here. Having your name uncapitalized and just in this big string doesn't make much sense. It's very long and hard to read. I know why you've done it though. I believe you've done it because it's quite a long name, but it makes it difficult to read and people are just going to be looking at your first name. The icon looks good. I'm not sure what it means. I like the mock-ups that you've chosen. Yeah, the design's good. It's very minimal. It's an icon. It doesn't really speak much as to you. If you're going for the M, I can definitely see the M there of your last name. One thing I would point out though, just little thing, in this sort of grid poster, this is squished. Never squish your logo. Never squish it to fit it in somewhere. Don't do that because you can see here, nice and round, but this here is squished. If you want your logo critiqued or you would like to just upload your work and get the community to give you feedback on it, then go ahead and join the subreddit. It's down below. It's free. Upload what you want. Every week I go ahead and review the top most rated designs and I rate them. And if you're new to the channel, then press that white subscribe button. They've changed it again. And check out this video right here.